Let's get stuck into the January transfer window now. Let's start with Manchester United. We've got a lot to do. And there's a lot of reports talking about Randal Kolo Muani from PSG, who's surpassed the requirements at PSG, like a few players have been under Luis Enrique. He's been, letting a few go. Garte's gone. He's come to Man United. He's doing all right. As a United fan, I feel... it doesn't feel right with Kolo Muani. I understand the position that we're in terms of we have to be creative with some of the deals that we can do, and the pool of players and the sort of the caliber of player you can get in a situation like we're in and a situation like January, right? You're not going to be in a market for players who are playing really well, smashing it for their teams, challenging for the top honours, and big money moves. Doesn't normally happen in January. You're normally shopping for players like a Kolo Muani can't get into the team. Something's gone wrong. They've decided they don't want that player anymore. They need a new challenge, maybe short term, maybe long. And also we need to be realistic and say anything we do in this transfer window, in the January transfer window for United, is probably going to be short term. It depends on outgoings. I mean, Kolo Muani, look, he's really good at Frankfurt. Probably, huge money move to PSG. Probably went to the wrong team for the wrong price, which happens. Does happen in football. Like they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I'm not saying he absolutely won't do anything, but on the same time, I'm battling because we've got Marcus Rashford who doesn't want to be there. It's almost like an empty space. It's a negative space. So if you do move him on, you need to replace that with somebody who does want to be there, who can get you through to the end of the season. Thoughts on Kolo Muani, Dan?
Serious question. Do you think Kolo Muani leaves beautiful Paris for a relegation battle?
Well, you say beautiful Paris, mate. He's not been playing a game. He's not been on the bench. No. So, yes, I
do you
would
think,
actually.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does leave. You didn't bite the way I was hoping that you would.
I'm past that remark. I'm past biting, mate. I've got a point at Anfield. You've got to talk to me different.
Yeah, don't you just point at Anfield, honestly. You think
2 points in 2 years.
Well done.
And 2 goals.
Congratulations to you.
What did you get when you last went to Anfield? Did you win?
No, we lost 2-0.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway. You've got to obviously shift someone before you can get him in those front positions. I said this earlier on some of the work that I was doing, that realistically I think 95% of Manchester United's squad is probably up for sale if a reasonable bid came in. There's obviously a few exceptions in there, but you said the word creative. Manchester United to be able to bring anyone in January would have to move someone on, I would say. So I just think it's so hard to do that in January, especially for players that are at Manchester United where no one's really pulled up any trees. It's going to be hard to shift people and make it beneficial for Manchester United. So at the moment, and there's talk of Anthony going to Olympiacos on loan with not an obligation to buy, an option to buy. It's going to be minimal wages paid there. Do moves like that really move the goalpost for Manchester United in terms of PSR and in terms of bringing players in? Probably not. Yeah. Even with Rashford, okay, he doesn't want to be there. The club don't want him there. That's quite clear by the squad selection every week. But I doubt anyone's going to sign him permanently at this point.
No.
If he goes on loan, what club is going to be able to pay even 50% of those wages?
Well, probably AC Milan. I think they could pay 50%. I think they could give him like 150.
No one really has any money except for the Premier League, and even the Premier League struggles in January.
AC Milan's top earner is Morata with like 160 odd, 170 odd. I think Rashford,
exactly, they've already got big earners there.
That's what I'm saying, 50%. But then after that, there isn't any. They're all really low.
But surely Milan would have to move on a top earner to be able to get another top earner.
But then it's also about. It's less about the clubs that are willing to pay for him, because you're right, not many can afford him. It's more how much are Man United willing to subsidise, and how much is Marcus Rashford willing to take the pay cut when it comes for the permanent move. What we have to remember is, though, like you said, nobody can afford Marcus Rashford now in January for a permanent move. No. Very, very unlikely, apart from Saudi, and he's rejected moves from there, right? So in Europe, it's almost going to be a short-term fix, because if Man United keep him, you're going down to Jadon Sancho territory. He went on loan to Dortmund because he's got to get back in the shop window. He's got to keep playing. And then in the summer, he comes back with smiles and confidence. And from a business perspective, it isn't all doom and gloom where you've got a player sitting there for 6-7 months, hasn't played football, he's been ostracised from the squad. Impossible to move on. So Man United need to find, like you're saying, a happy medium between getting Marcus Rashford out of the door to just solve this problem. He doesn't want to be there. United want to move him on, but preserve some value for later on and get him out playing, but also shift him well enough so that it frees up something off the wage bill with United being created with a loan of their own with no obligation, so they can send that player back in the summer, because you also can't be down another player and not fill that gap.
I think you're possibly at Manchester United waiting for dominoes to fall that aren't necessarily going to fall, and attacking positions. Although Manchester United don't have the players to play the system that Amorim wants in the front positions at the moment, really, bar a couple of exceptions. But it's, you're playing a system with wing backs and you don't have a natural left wing back.
But that's why a wing back is a priority in this. And
so, but how are you going to facilitate doing that and bringing in a forward player?
This is where Casemiro comes into it, because
him going would be a start if the market's there.
And this is what it is.
I can't believe that the market would be there, though. Honestly,
what for Casemiro in Saudi?
No, I can't believe that he's just gone. Mentally, legs.
Oh yeah, but in Saudi, he'll have a laugh.
Even they must think.
Nah,
I'm not sure this is wise, lads.
Nah, they see that as a coup. Al Nassr can sit and chill. Ronaldo in front. Yeah, it'd be fine. Fine. Yeah.
If you do that, Jesus,
double his wages.
Yeah. Fair play. If Manchester United can shift him, then fair play.
But honestly, there are a lot of reports.
But then you need a midfielder, because you haven't got enough central midfielders. This is what I'm saying about the dominoes falling.
But that's what I'm saying.
Unless you're going like for like, you're in trouble.
If Rashford goes,
I don't see that happening. I don't see
he'll go
these things
somewhere.
happening. Do you honestly think Rashford will go somewhere?
It'll be short term. Short term, he'll go somewhere.
I think it's different to Jadon Sancho this time last year.
He was on 250 grand as well.
Sancho had the kind of Dortmund heartstrings to pull on and go back to somewhere he'd already been, where he had credit in the bank. That isn't there for Rashford.
Apparently Dortmund are in for him as well.
Yeah, I saw that earlier as well. I mean,
mate, honestly,
who knows what's real and what's fake at this time of year.
Rashford won't be a Man United player by February the 3rd. Not permanent, but he will secure a loan of some sort somewhere.
I'm not certain,
I think he will.
I'm really not certain.
Sticking with United, Joshua Zirkzee is attracting interest from Juventus back to Serie A. But from that, a lot of reports and a lot of credible journalists, David Ornstein et al., have been saying that, he doesn't want to go. He said he's rejected those moves and he wants to stay and fight for his position. The way I see it is, look, it's been a really, really tough start for Joshua Zirkzee. I haven't rated him. I haven't thought that he's done well. He's really, really struggled. But, the treatment that he got at the Newcastle game, where he was booed by a section of the United fans, that is really, really bad. And he's responded well to that. And the United fans, the away fans, really give him a good reception at Liverpool because of that. That tends to happen in the United fan base, which is really good, sticking by players.
Good away fans, Manchester United.
Really, really good away fans and match-going fans. But what I would say is, actually having taken a step back out of him really, really struggling, this is a guy who's coming to a new league, a new team, a team that's failing. The manager's then got sacked and a new manager's come in with a whole new set of ideas and principles. Nobody has looked good. The team is 13th. I should really afford him a full season to just see. And you know what? At a time when we want commitment from players, Marcus Rashford's out there doing interviews saying, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm ready for a new challenge. Well, here's Joshua Zirkzee, who's showing a bit of minerals. It's not gone well in the first few months. He's got the opportunity to go back to the league he was just in with the manager he was just with in terms of Motta from Bologna to Juve. And he could just say, that was really tough. I ain't got the mineral stomach for this. But he said, no, I want to stay. I want to fight. And actually, that's appealing as a United fan. So I'm willing. The same way with Højlund last year, he went like 14 games without a Premier League goal. I remember he had a barren spell, really, really tough. And I was like, let's give him a season. So, and look, I'm not saying Højlund's the answer now and he's much better for it, but he does deserve a chance to stay. It's really, really early to start getting rid of him on a permanent.
It's different to the Højlund situation because Højlund's a little bit younger, and I would say Højlund got football. He played consistent football when he was fit last year. He was picked. How difficult is it for Zirkzee when you're not to get rhythm as a centre forward or a forward player? When you're in and out of the team, you've got 10 minutes here. You might not come off the bench the next week. Then you're asked to play 60 minutes another way. There's no routine. There's no consistency there. Amorim's changing the team a lot anyway. He's come into a pretty poor environment generally at Manchester United, where pretty much everything on and off the pitch is failing. Why would you expect him to be any better than what he's been, would be my question to the people that are booing him.
Yeah.
How is he going to be any better? And how does the booing help?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the positive output that's going to come from that booing? Absolutely nothing. So I'd say he's the least of your worries, Zirkzee, because you've got to give people a little bit of time. Like you say, new league, new manager, two new managers, a team that's not offering very much all round. Even the most established of players have struggled at times for Manchester United, or a lot of the time at Manchester United this season. he's coming into a failing environment. What do people expect?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that one. And away from United, let's look at Chelsea, because Marc Guéhi is back in the forefront with Chelsea potentially looking at him. He failed to secure that big money move to Newcastle in the summer. I think it was 3 bids in the end, wasn't it? It was turned down by Crystal Palace.
Big
money. Yeah. If Chelsea do come in, do Chelsea need another centre half? Obviously, Fofana's gone down with another injury. Adebayo doesn't look great. Disasi doesn't look great. Badiashile doesn't look great. So really, it's Colwell and Fofana have been the main two, and like I said, the latter is injured. So there is a need, right, isn't there, for them to get one?
As a like for Fofana, then they're not dissimilar in what they offer as a centre back. Badiashile is injured as well. Obviously, Fofana's out for the season. Disasi, I'm not sure what he is.
That's another Koulibaly, that is.
Tossin's probably fine as a fourth centre half. I always quite liked him at Fulham, but maybe is the Chelsea step up a little bit too big for him. So I think they definitely need a centre half. My question would be: is Guéhi the right profile of centre half? Now he's quite aggressive, Guéhi, and he's quite front footed for a defender. I think Chelsea need more of a physical presence in that back line, more of a leader. Again, Guéhi is a leader in fairness. He's been captain at Crystal Palace and captain of younger age groups in the past. But I just don't think he's that kind of dominating centre half that Chelsea need, that's going to take them to the next level. For all the transfer business that they've done and all the players that they've bought in over the last 3 or 4 windows, I don't look at any of their centre halves and think, yeah, top centre half there, real top draw for the money Chelsea have spent. And the goalkeeper will always concern me when I watch him. I don't think he's good enough for a team like Chelsea. No. So for all they've done in the transfer market, they're 2 pretty pivotal areas that haven't really ever been addressed. So to drop the kind of money that they'd have to drop on Guéhi,
what do you think?
I would just ask the question: is he the right type of centre half?
Yeah. What do you think would be the price point, considering what? I think Newcastle were turning down, Palace were turning down bids of 65-ish, 70-ish.
Yeah.
And they still didn't get him. He's now gone on to play half the season now.
Yeah, so 18 months left.
And has 18 months left. And also hasn't been as probably strong as he was in the Euro/ last year for Palace as well.
Well, I think the Palace, it's difficult because Palace have overhauled their defence and they're playing a different system, and he's had to get used to playing with different players, and his centre-back partner from last year, Joachim Andersen's a very good defender, has moved on to Fulham. So I think there's difficult circumstances in there for Guéhi, and he's still managed to be a mainstay, and he's never kicked up a fuss in terms of, even though he probably wanted to move, he didn't kick up a fuss. I think that
60?
I think how to word it. I don't think he's a £60 million player with 5 years left on his contract. But, you pay a premium for English talent. That's always the way it's been. There's complications with the deal because Chelsea have a matching clause and a first option, I think. So technically, if Chelsea are paying 50 million, let's say, it actually isn't 50 million because they've got the sell-on clause in the deal. So it takes the price down. Maybe 50.
50?
Maybe 50.
Okay. Right,
but I don't think Palace will want to lose him in January anyway.
No, it will be difficult.
And he won't
for
kick
them.
up a stink if they say no.
No, he'll just keep playing. Well, we'll see. It's going to be a lot of moving parts, especially if the Saudi Pro League gets involved in sorting out some clubs' problems as well. We'll give some flexibility to some Premier League teams.
You need that, let me tell you.
Absolutely. They need
Some
to come and
need
save
it more
us.
than others.
Absolutely.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.